Hey, it's Mike Cooch. I want to shoot a new video here for the channel, and it is a gorgeous day in Encinitas, so I figure I might as well come down to the beach. This is Moonlight Beach, and shoot it here, and you can enjoy some views while you're hopefully getting a valuable lesson here. I want to share what I think is the most valuable decision that small business owners and new entrepreneurs can make when it comes to building their business. And this is something I learned thankfully early on and incorporated into everything that I did, and it's made a huge difference. And that is to focus on building your business as an asset that you plan on selling from day one. Okay, almost every new entrepreneur I know, almost every small business owner I know is so focused on income, on making income. And there's nothing wrong with making income. We should all be focused on making as much income as we possibly can. But you've got to set aside an equal amount of time and energy and focus and strategy for how you're going to create an asset out of your business that you can ultimately sell. Because it doesn't matter how much income you make, your sale of your asset is ultimately going to be worth much, 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 much more money. And the reality is, almost everybody I know at some point or another wants to get out of their business, okay? Nobody that I know has decided that, you know what, I just want to run this business for the rest of my life. So when you get out, if you want to get out, if you have not prepared the whole time to design that business as an asset that could eventually be sold, uh-oh, water coming up on me, it can be very, very hard to then get out of that business. But if you focus from day one on structuring the business as an asset that's eventually going to be sold, you can get maximum value from that business and you can get out of it quickly and relatively painlessly, versus what happens to a lot of people is they decide that they want to get out, they realize that the price that they're going to get for their business is not nearly what they imagined, and then they have to spend years restructuring things to ultimately try to be able to sell their business again at some point for the price tag that they had in mind. And oftentimes, as you can imagine, that never works out that way. So if you start from day one with the idea that eventually I want to get out of this thing, even if it turns out not to be true, you're better off because you've built a better business, a healthier business, and will ultimately be a more profitable business. And the more profit that you make, the more income that you make, the more the value of that asset increases over time. So there's really no good reason, there's no good argument not to focus on building that business as an asset the whole damn time, okay? So what does that mean? How do you build your business as an asset? So a handful of things. One, you should be thinking about your business as something that somebody that doesn't have your expertise and your knowledge about the specific industry will eventually have to take over and run. Okay, that's such a critical concept, right? So many people start a business based on their expertise, their knowledge. You know, I'm an expert in doing X, Y, and Z, so I start a business in that. But they never get to the point where they can separate their expertise from the actual product or deliverable that the business is delivering, which just means that you've just created a really high-priced, job for yourself, right? Where maybe you're making more and you have more flexibility and more freedom than you did when you were doing this for somebody else, but you're still in a job because it's 100% reliant on you. So think about the business owner who wants to, or the investor who wants to buy your business eventually is exactly that, an investor. Think of them as an investor, somebody with chunks of money that they're willing to buy assets, but not if those assets require them to get a new job. That's not what they're looking for. They're not looking to buy a new job. They want something that produces money and sends that money to them every week or every month. So that's the most important thing, is to have that mindset of that, investor mentality instead of the hands-on entrepreneur, because then you'll structure your services, you'll structure your whatever product you're selling, the packages, things like that, in a way that other people can deliver them, and that's so, so, so critical. Next thing I would say is being really focused then on process, documenting how it is that you're actually doing things, and using automation wherever you can, systems wherever you can, to run your business, so that, again, if I'm somebody who doesn't know anything about this business, I want to have the confidence that I can walk in And there are systems and processes in place that will run without me having to, invent that stuff myself. So, I can tell you in my first business, I literally had our entire team focus on documenting process every single day for every position, so that ultimately we ended up with this big, like, McDonald's, manual of how to run the business that was, encyclopedia thick. Luckily, you don't have to do that anymore because the businesses are run much more with automation and systems and things like that. But being very process focused, systems focused, and documentation focused, I know it doesn't sound sexy, but it's incredibly sexy when you get that check, because that makes your business that much more valuable. Next thing I would say, and again, something that many entrepreneurs just really struggle with, but from day one, hire a good bookkeeper. Okay, if I'm somebody who's looking to buy your business and I walk in the door and you tell me that your business is doing $2 million in sales and it's profitable, and then I look at your books and it's clear that you're not following GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, and your books are all over the place, well, now your numbers that you just told me are meaningless. I'm assuming you're inflating them. I'm assuming you don't really even know your numbers. And so now the price that I'm willing to pay for the business just went way down, because I just got a lot more perceived risk in thinking about your business, right? I don't think that the numbers that I'm looking at are really anything like you say they are. So you've got to have a really good bookkeeper. You've got to have good, clean books following generally accepted accounting principles. Otherwise, all you're doing is shooting yourself in the ass if you expect anybody to buy your business for a healthy chunk of money. Nobody in their right mind is going to do that. In fact, I bought a couple of businesses when I was running my first company, and I was able to get them for a steal. After these entrepreneurs had worked, for 10, 15 years to build their business, I got them for almost nothing out of pocket, because they had kept terrible records, because they were trying to, as much as they could, avoid taxes, as much as they could avoid, having to declare income, and so they completely botched their record keeping because they were just focused on that short-term income, when in reality what they were doing was absolutely robbing from their own pocket and the long-term value of the business. So you've got to keep good books, okay? So think of your business as if somebody who does not know the business, who does not know the industry, who does not have your expertise is ultimately going to be the one writing a check for it. Design your products and services around it, design systems and processes around that mentality, and keep really, really good books, knowing that you're going to have to give somebody the highest level of confidence that what you're saying about your business is true. If you operate like that from day one, you're building an asset. And when you sell that asset, it's going to be for many times the income that you were making at your business. That's the way it works, okay? And you're going to realize that that is what all of that hard work was all about. If you don't put that thought into it from day one, if you don't treat your business as an asset, and you end up not being able to sell the business, or not being able to sell the business for nearly as much as you could have, you're going to be really upset with yourself, all right? Focus on building the asset from day one. I hope that helps you.